sex sells, and
Oh yeah,
sex is always
yeah.
sold in wrestling. Like, how do you feel about that?
Doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Not at all. And this is like very anti-feminist of me or whatever. But I think it's great. I think that if uh, I don't know if it would be like anti-feminist or whatever, but I would say like whatever women are comfortable doing, to the extent that they are comfortable doing it, they should. So like
Hmm.
my butt's out. I worked hard for it.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Like, and I think other women are like, nope, I like to be very, very covered because I want to focus on the wrestling. And I respect the shit out of that too. I like to try to split the difference. It's like, I'm not all like, it's not all everything's hanging out all the time. There's like just enough hanging out that it's like, all right, we notice it. But sex sells and it will continue to sell. And personally, I think not taking advantage of that is silly because you think about it, like even the male wrestlers, a lot of the very, very popular male wrestlers have these six packs, right? Like they're freaking jacked. They are units. They've
Yeah.
got perfect tan. Like they've got a flawless face. Like they wear makeup too, you know? Wrestling is a business that is very, very much appearance based.
It's entertainment. So it's
Yeah,
it's an aspect of that. Does
yeah.
it overwhelm you at times, like where you feel like, oh, you always gotta be eating right, or you always gotta be like looking your best? And
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. It's a good question. Um, I think I'm really hard on myself too. So I think that if I like any picture that I see of myself where I'm not look perfectly lean and flexing, like my stomach's hanging over, like my skin is hanging over, and it looks like I have more or whatever, like I I get upset. I'm like, I better, and then I have to stop and be like, no, I'm a fucking athlete. Like it's
yeah,
okay, you know what I mean? But it's definitely hard. Like it weighs on me, and people on social media are assholes too. Like I get if somebody slides in my DMs and I don't give them the answer that I want, like I get called all sorts of names. So that's definitely a part of it too. Like that part I think is more overwhelming because it's just like, stop messaging me. If you want to talk to me, pay for it. Like I don't know what to tell you.
yeah.
That's more overwhelming than the expectation because I expect a lot from myself. And so like I'm only ever disappointing myself. I haven't so far, from what I've heard from anybody, disappointed any coaches or any promoters or anything like that.
It's funny. I heard something the other day. Cara Rossellini, she's a comic from Seattle, and she has like three daughters, I think, or maybe two, but at least one of them plays competitive soccer.
Mm,
And one of the coaches for the team had like both boys and girls that were athletes for kids. And he said that like boys play their best when they feel their best,
yeah.
and girls like need to look like feel like they're looking their best in order to play their best. Like it's important to them. Like,
Yeah.
and I that's a wild generality. It's a one person, but
No, for
I thought
sure.
that was because I never thought about, appearance when I was playing sports ever. But
Yeah, you wouldn't.
yeah. And
That makes total sense. And I think wrestling is probably the exception to that rule because everybody knows like you have to look a certain way, male or female. But that makes a lot of sense. I think women are generally like way more self conscious than men,
is there
even when it
pressure
comes
to
to
wear, like, use any additional substances? Like,
oh, like PEDs.
mhm,
No, there are women that do it, and there are men that do it. I would say a lot of men that do it.
mhm,
Um, but I've been like offered to go down that path, and it's not interesting to me.
yeah.
I like being a natural athlete, but I don't judge people who do what they want to do, like using whatever they want to use. But I wouldn't say that there's pressure. I would say for me, like I don't wear makeup on my face at all. If I'm wearing makeup, it's eye makeup. There is
Mhm.
not a single time I don't think in any promo picture or any match that I've had makeup on my face. Um, and that to a lot of girls is like, what's wrong with you? Like, why aren't you doing that? And I'm like, because I don't want to. Like, this is my face. I'll wear eye makeup because it's fun and it's the only thing I know how to put on. I don't own concealer. Like, I don't know how to powder I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
That pressure is very, very real. The makeup pressure. And people are like, well, how did you do your makeup so fast? And I'm like, because I don't wear any. Like, I just don't care. I'm not putting on fake eyelashes. Like I did for dark. My friends actually put them on for me because I didn't know how.
Mhm.
But generally, like that's way more in the like women's wrestling circle. It's more about like your makeup and your hair and your gear and your boots and your tights and all of that. And then for the men, I think it's probably more like your PEDs, brother.